in HD. 12 News at 6 starts now.
Holding up baby Faith in prayer. Police believe the 1-month-old is an abuse victim. Many folks believe God can pull her through.
Mr. Rawson, do you don't have anything to say?
Nothing.
Discouraged by a judge's ruling, a snake owner storms out of a courtroom after Animal Services gets his reptilian friends. First, tonight, a community prays for baby Faith. Good evening, I'm Kevin Steele. Welcome to 12 News HD. Jackie is off tonight. Baby Faith remains in guarded condition tonight at Texas Children's Hospital in Houston. Doctors are putting her into a full-body cast to help her heal 19 different fractures. A family member took baby Faith to the hospital Saturday, where doctors found signs of abuse. Tonight, the community will be gathering for a prayer vigil. 12 News reporter Augustine Garfias joins us from Lakeview Palms Apartments to tell us what we can expect from that vigil there. Augustine?
This is a flyer that's being passed around here at the apartment complex, basically encouraging tenants to attend this vigil tonight and encouraging them to bring their children. Now, one of the ladies who organized this event is here with me now. Her name is Owita Proctor. And Miss Proctor, you said that the driving point behind this vigil was for baby Faith, but there's a bigger picture here. Tell us about that.
It's not only also for baby Faith, but it's also for the children of Southeast Texas. We want all our children to be prayed for. We don't want what has happened in other states, because we're not exclusive. It can't happen to our kids here.
So what kind of message are you really trying to give to them and their parents as well?
The message that we're trying to give out to them, that God answers prayer. We want a healing for baby Faith, and we want our children to be covered as they get ready to attend school on Monday.
And you've reached out to a lot of people here in Port Arthur. Who are some of the people that we can expect to see here at the vigil tonight?
Okay, we have the Minister Alliance that's going to be here, represented by Dr. Timothy Anderson. He is the president of the Minister Alliance, and his colleagues are going to be here. Minister Michael White from the Rose of Sharon Baptist Church will be offering prayer. He'll be offering singing. We're expecting the mayor of Port Arthur to be here. We're expecting city officials to be here. The assistant manager of the property, and Mr. Kashada, is going to be here. And the officers that patrols out here, they're going to be here to support what we're doing.
And you just mentioned the manager with the apartment will be here. So is it safe to say that the general public, people who don't live here, are allowed to come and be a part of this?
Yes, it's not only for Lakeview Palms, but it's for the community.
All right, thank you, Ms. Proctor. Now, that vigil is scheduled to start at 7:30 in the area behind me next to this playground. The address here at this complex is 5200 Gulfway Drive. For anyone interested in coming, and as you just heard, the general public is invited to this vigil tonight. We're live in Port Arthur. Augustine Garfias, 12 News HD.
All righty, Augustine, thanks very much. A parental rights hearing is expected to be held next Thursday. It will be held on the 29th in Judge Larry Thorne's courtroom. The questions of a family concerning the death of their inmate loved one are being answered tonight. 12 News has just learned that Jefferson County coroners have performed a preliminary autopsy and ruled inmate John Kennedy Timms III died of a stroke while in custody. Timms was taken to a local hospital when correctional officers believed he might have been suffering from an infection. Jefferson County Sheriff's Office spokesman Rod Carroll says within a matter of hours he had died at the hospital. We're told the stroke might have stemmed from a multiple organ dysfunction syndrome that is called sepsis. A Reserve Liberty County deputy constable is under arrest tonight, accused with illegally operating a security company. The Texas Department of Public Safety led the investigation into Cedric McDuffie. He has served for more than 20 years in some form of law enforcement and formerly served as a Cleveland city councilman. McDuffie was working as a non-paid reserve deputy constable in Liberty County's Precinct 6. He resigned earlier this month. Now an update on the seizure of a half-dozen snakes at a South End Beaumont home Monday. Beaumont Animal Services also confiscated rabbits and rats that were being provided as a food source for pythons and boa constrictors. Authorities say they were living in deplorable conditions. Today, the neighbors spoke up. 12 News HD reporter Vanessa Holmes joining us in studio with what's next for the snakes. Vanessa?
Kevin, after a 10-day appeal process, Beaumont Animal Services Services says Gator Country will be first in line for an application to adopt those snakes. The owners of Gator Country tell us they have plenty of room to house the pythons and boa constrictors. Tonight, they're being housed at the shelter after Justice of the Peace Nancy Beaulieu ruled to grant custody to the city.
Okay, come on.
Mr. Rawson, do you don't have anything to say?
Nothing.
No comment from Bruce Rawson.
This is a 7-foot snake skin.
Just 24 hours after he allowed 12 News into his home to show off his jungle gym, a room where he kept his pythons and boa constrictors. Rawson says this 11 by 14 room is secure and that his snakes couldn't get out. Wednesday, neighbors told us a different story, saying snakes have previously escaped. Jesse Gomez works in his yard just 2 streets away from Rawson's home and says he's always remained frightful.
I'd hate to stick my hand in as I'm putting weeds or whatever and come into contact with one of those.
Also down the road lives Patty Lee, who gave a court statement Wednesday asking for the snakes to be permanently removed from the neighborhood.
Afraid to go to the house because we didn't know if the snakes were contained or how many were loose in the neighborhood.
The snakes, rabbits, and rats are now removed from the neighborhood and will call the shelter home for at least 10 more days. Supervisor Matthew Fortenberry says there's already high interest for adoptions.
We've had several phone calls even before the hearing this morning, before we knew the outcome.
Fortenberry says the snakes could end up here in a safe environment at Gator Country. Again, Gator Country will be first in line for an adoption application once the snakes are ready to be up for adoption. Rawson must also pay a $585 fine, and Beaumont Animal Services says it is now considering filing charges against him for animal cruelty and neglect.
He came out the loser on all ends there, didn't he?
Definitely.
Thanks very much. Rawson says, in fact, he'll move out of the neighborhood as soon as possible. Judge Beaulieu ordered the health department to check Rawson's home before anyone else moves into it. Another animal seizure hearing took place today in Port Arthur, this one involving these game fowl. J.P. Mark DeRuin ruled that the surviving roosters seized from a Port Acres home must be euthanized. About 100 were seized last week. Port Arthur Animal Control believed the animals were being used in cockfighting, but the owner claims he had them for food. DeRuin was forced to rule as he did because it's against city ordinance to have game fowl within city limits. The judge also fined the owner $500. A dramatic change today from yesterday, and we have to know what we can look forward to for the rest of the week. David?
Unfortunately, that's what happens when you don't get the showers. Yesterday, that helped to cool our temperatures down, but today it's been pretty hot. But we are watching some thunderstorms just across the state line in Louisiana coming out of Beauregard Parish. These are drifting, and I mean drifting, to the west. So possibly Newton County. You can see a lot of lightning, some pretty heavy rain associated with these storms. It will just be Newton and Jasper counties probably over the next 3 hours or so before everything dies out. Most of us, especially here in the Triangle, will be dry. It's still hot out there, 90 degrees right now in Beaumont, 95 in Jasper. With those isolated showers, they'll end by about 8 o'clock. We'll all be left with mainly clear skies tonight and very humid conditions. I'll talk more about possibility of rain coming up over the next several days.
We'll look forward to it, sir. Thank you very much.
Got it.
Energy for America from a unique source. It's what a Port Arthur facility will be creating soon. The Endicott Biofuels Company has worked in agreement with Chemtex just east of Sabine Pass to produce fuel from any waste, fats, oils, or greases. The facility will produce 30 million gallons of fuel a year. It will use what's called the G2 Clear biodiesel. It's just one of the companies that will be working to reduce America's dependency on foreign oil by meeting federal renewable fuel standards. A biofuel company called Gevo Inc. will soon pop up in Silsbee. It will create a key component of new soda bottles. We'll tell you more about that later. Army Major Nidal Hassan has rested his case in the trial that could send him to the death chamber. Hassan did not call a single witness in his case and did not testify on his own behalf. Hassan is the man who admits to killing 13 people at Fort Hood in 2009, saying he did so to protect the lives of Taliban members in Afghanistan. Hassan was set to deploy just before he went on his bloody rampage. Closing arguments are expected to begin tomorrow morning. A family is demanding justice, saying a Houston pharmacy mistake led to their daughter's death. The family of 6-year-old Jada Lynn Williams is suing Cullen Care Pharmacy. The little girl was diagnosed as a baby with sickle cell anemia, and the family had been using the pharmacy to fill the girl's morphine prescriptions. The pharmacy is accused with filling a prescription for 10 times the prescribed dose of the drug. The medication killed the little girl within a week. The mother says she hopes the lawsuit will prevent pain for other parents. A former San Antonio kindergarten teacher has been sentenced to 30 days in jail and 2 years probation for allowing other students to line up and punch a child. 44-year-old Cynthia Ambrose was charged with official oppression. Ambrose said the 7-year-old was acting up and said she wanted to teach the child a lesson. The Texas Education Agency has not ruled if Ambrose, who is now on probation, will be able to teach again. An update now on the health of the 44-year-old son of Vice President Joe Biden. Beau Biden is reportedly in great shape tonight at Houston's MD Anderson Cancer Center. Biden, who serves as the Attorney General for the state of Delaware, will be discharged tomorrow. He arrived Monday for tests on what's been described as a mass on his brain. The vice president has been at his son's side and has canceled scheduled appearances in Maine and Rhode Island for tomorrow. After-school activities can be great, of course, for a student's social life, but local education and employment professionals say also extracurriculars can boost a resume. The student council supervisor at Westbrook High School, Christy Fuselier, says colleges, of course, want to see good grades, but they also want a well-rounded student. Fuselier says community service hours are especially important on a student's resume. Working at Landmark Staffing, a temp agency in Orange, Michelle Bean knows firsthand how much emphasis employers really put on extracurriculars.
The teamwork, the commitment, the dedication, and the hours that it takes to participate, whether it's academics or football or sports, is really important, and it shows a lot about an employee or a potential employee.
Both Bean and Fuselier say activities show different things about a student. For instance, serving in student government shows leadership skills. Being on a sports team through high school shows the ability to make a long-term commitment. And doing volunteer work shows dedication to helping others. All things colleges and employers look for. Southeast Texas loses yet another great one. J.P. Richardson, better known as the Big Bopper Jr., has died. Right now, it's not clear why the 54-year-old passed away, but the website dedicated in his father's honor says he succumbed after a, quote, long, hard fight. His father, the Big Bopper, was a legendary rock and roll artist, best known for his song, Chantilly Lace.